Very interesting. Okay, so Hare Krishna Mataji, when you are ready and Prabhasha and the Pranshu are ready. So kindly start with the invocation prayers, Mataji. With Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times, and at the end, once it is finished, Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah. So, Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Bhagavate Vasudeva. Vasudeva. সূর্যচন্দ্র ঘরে জ্বলছে সব অন্ধকার, বস্তু প্রকাশিয়া করে ধর্মেরা প্রচার। এই মাতা দুই ভাই জীবের জ্ঞান, তম নাশা করি কইল তত্ত্ব বস্তু দান। Prabhu, is it audible?
Yes, we could hear. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Translation: As the sun and the moon drive away darkness by their appearance and reveal the nature of everything, these two brothers dissipate the darkness of ignorance, covering the living beings and enlighten them with knowledge of the absolute truth.
অজ্ঞান তোমের নাম কহিয়ে কৈতব, ধর্ম অর্থ কাম মোক্ষ বাঞ্ছা আদি সব।
The darkness of ignorance is called Kaitava, the way of cheating, which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation.
ধর্ম প্রচিত কৈতবোত্র পরমো নির্মৎসরাণম সতাম, বেদ্যাম বাস্তবমাত্র বস্তু শিবদাম তাপত্রয়োন্মূলানাম। শ্রীমদ্ভাগবতে মহামুনি কৃতে কিং বা পরেরীশ্বরः, সাদ্यो হৃদ্যবরুধ্যতেऽত্র কৃতিভিঃ শুশ্রূষুभिस्तत्ক্ষণাৎ।
The great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by Mahamuni Vyasdev from 4 original verses, describes the most elevated and kind-hearted devotees and completely rejects the cheating way of materially motivated religiosity. It propounds the highest principle of eternal religion, which can factually mitigate the threefold miseries of a living being and award the highest benediction of full prosperity and knowledge. Those willing to hear the message of this scripture in a submissive attitude of service can at once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, there is no need of any scripture other than Srimad Bhagavatam.
তার মধ্যে মোক্ষা বাঞ্ছা কৈতব প্রধান, যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি হয় অন্তর্ধান।
The foremost process of cheating is to desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Supreme, for this causes the permanent disappearance of loving service to Krishna.
प्रशब्देन मोक्षाभिसन्धिरपि निरस्तः इति।
You can do it once with Sanskrit. Prashabden
मोक्षाभिसन्धिरपि निरस्तः इति.
The prefix pra in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam indicates that desire for liberation is completely rejected.
কৃষ্ণ ভক্তির বাধক যত শুভ কর্ম, সেহ এক জীবের অজ্ঞান তম ধর্ম।
All kinds of activities, both auspicious and inauspicious, that are detrimental to the discharge of transcendental loving service to Lord Sri Krishna are actions of the darkness of ignorance. যাহারো প্রসাদে এই তম হয় নাশ, তম নাশ করি করে ততেরও প্রকাশ.
By the grace of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, this darkness of ignorance is removed and the truth is brought to light.
তত্ত্ববস্তু কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি রূপ তত্ত্ববস্তু কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি রূপ প্রেম নাম সংকীর্তন শব্দ আনন্দ স্বরূপ
The absolute truth is Sri Krishna, and loving devotion to Sri Krishna, exhibited in pure love, is achieved through congregational chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all bliss.
সূর্যচন্দ্র বাহিরের তমসে বিনাশে বহির্বস্তু ঘটপট আদি সে প্রকাশে
The sun and moon dissipate the darkness of external world, and thus reveal external material objects like pots and plates.
দুই ভাইয়ের হৃদয়ে খালি অন্ধকার দুই ভাগবত সঙ্গে করান সাক্ষাৎকার
But these two brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart, and thus they help one meet the two kinds of Bhagavatas, persons or beings in relationship with the personality of Godhead.
এক ভাগবত বড় ভাগবত শাস্ত্র আর ভাগবত ভক্ত ভক্তি রস পাত্র
One of the Bhagavatas is the great scripture of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the other is the pure devotee absorbed in the mellows of loving devotion.
দুই ভাগবত দ্বারা দিয়া ভক্তি রস তাহারও হৃদয়ে তার প্রেমে হয় বশ
Through the actions of these two Bhagavatas, the Lord instills the mellows of transcendental loving service into the heart of a living being, and thus the Lord, in the heart of his devotee, comes under the control of the devotee's love.
এক অদ্ভুত সমকালে দোহারও প্রকাশ আর অদ্ভুত চিত্ত গুহার তম করে নাশ
The first wonder is that both brothers appear simultaneously, and the other is that they illuminate the innermost depths of the heart.
এই চন্দ্র সূর্য দুই পরম সদয় জগতের ভাগ্য গৌড়ে করিল উদয়
These two, the sun and moon, are being very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. Sridur Prabhur kori charana bandana, jaha hoite bigno nasho abhishta puran. Let us therefore worship the holy feet of these two lords. Thus one can be rid of all difficulties on the path of self-realization. এই দুই শ্লোকে কইল মঙ্গল বন্দন তৃতীয় শ্লোকেরা অর্থ শুনো সর্বজন I have invoked the benediction of the Lords with these two verses, texts 1 and 2 of this chapter. Now please hear attentively the purport of the third verse. বক্তব্য বাহুল্য গ্রন্থ বিস্তারের দরে বিস্তারে নবর্ণে সরার্থ কাহি অল্পাক্ষরে I purposely avoid extensive description for fear of increasing the bulk of this book. I shall describe the essence as concisely as possible. Mitam cha saranam cha vacho Mitam cha saram cha vacho hivagmita iti. Essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. শুনে লেখন দিবে চিত্তের অজ্ঞানাদি দোষ কৃষ্ণ গধা প্রেমে হবে পাইবে সন্তোষ Simply hearing submissively will free one's heart from all the faults of ignorance, and thus one will achieve deep love for Krishna. This is the path of peace. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatta Tar Bhakta Bhakti Nam Prema Rasa Tatta ভিন্ন ভিন্ন লিখিয়াছি করিয়া বিচার শুনিলে জানিবে সব বস্তু তত্ত্বসার If one patiently hears about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu and their devotees, devotional activities, name and fame, along with the mellows of their transcendental loving exchanges, one will learn the essence of the absolute truth. Therefore, I have described these in the Chaitanya Charitamrita with logic and discrimination. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padaya Jaro Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya's Charitamrita following in their footsteps.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Forgive us for mistakes, please.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice recitations, Sanchita Mataji, Prabhasha and Pranshu. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. All family nicely recited. Okay,
Thank you, Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we got Radha Sevaki Mata joined. Hare Krishna Mataji. Then not Pranam. I will Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for kindly joining. Okay, so next is the japa. So I request the devotees wherever it's possible, kindly unmute and chant. So can I request anyone to do the Panchatattva mantra 3 times, please? And then we shall start.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Rama
Hare Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare 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 Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare 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 Ram Hare
Hare
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Rama
Hare Ram
Rama
Ram Ram
Hare
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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna Hare
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 Rama
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Ram Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama
Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
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 Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare
Shri
Krishna
Advaita
Krishna
Gadadhara
Hare Hare
Shiva
Hare
Hari Gaura Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Hari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if anyone has not yet completed the Japaran, kindly complete it in the behind. Meanwhile, we shall move into the next part, the Kirtan. Okay, so meanwhile, we think Vaishali Mata joined and then left. Okay, so second request, Radha Sevaka Mataji to sing the Kirtan Mataji if you are available to sing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yeah. Is it just Hare Krishna Maha Mantra?
That's fine, Mataji. Whatever you think is fine with you. And you want someone to accompany with you, or you want to do on your own?
Yeah, if anyone would like to accompany, that's fine.
Thanks, Mataji and family. Would you like to follow behind Dada Shekha Mataji, if it is okay?
Prabhu, they're not here now, so maybe somebody else. I'm okay. Some other devotee can have a chant.
Okay, anyone wanted to follow, respond to Dada Shekha Mataji?
Hare Krishna, I don't mind. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Dada Shekha Mataji, when you are ready, Mataji.
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana
यमुनातीरावनचारी
यमुनातीरावनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यमुनातीरावनचारी
यमुनातीरावनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यमुनातीरावनचारी
यमुनातीरावनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulanand Radhe.
Sorry, Mataji, I couldn't hear you. I lost you. But Jaya Radha Gokulnanda, Radha Gokulnanda, Radha Gokulnanda, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Landanishwar, Radha Landanishwar, Radha Landanishwar, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Landaneshwara, Radha Landaneshwara, Radha Landaneshwara, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Sham Sundar, Shri Radhe.
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman.
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramaya.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladeva.
Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva.
Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham.
Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha.
Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Radha Sekar Mataji and Jai Mataji. Very beautifully sung. Okay, so next is the Guru Vandana place. Can I request Gayatri Mataji to lead, and we all will follow behind. Everyone unmute and follow behind Gayatri Mataji. And then for Mangalachan prayers, does Vaishali Mataji is familiar with Mangalachan prayers, Mataji, to recite later on?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, I can only listen this time.
Okay, Mataji, that's fine. No worries. Okay, so first we'll go to the Guru Vandana. Gayatri Mataji, when you're ready, Mataji, kindly start. We all will follow behind you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sure Prabhuji, thank you. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Shri Guru
Charana
Charana Padma
Kevala
Kevala
Bhakati
Bhakati
Sadma
Sadma
बंधु मोई सावधान माते
Bandha Mohi
Savadana
Savadana Mate
बंधु मोई सावधान माते
Bandha
Bandhamohi
Mohi
Savadana
Savadana
Mate
जहरा प्रसादे भाई ये भवा तुरिया जाई
Jahara Prasade Bhai Eva Turiya Jai
जहरा प्रसादे भाई ये भवा तुरिया जाई
Jahara
Prasade
Prasade
Bhai
Bhai
Bhava
Eva
Turiya
Turiya
Jai
Jai
कृष्ण प्राप्ति होई जहाँ होईते
Krishna
Krishna Prapti
Prapti Hoy
Hoy Jaha
Jaha
Hoy
Hoite
Te
कृष्ण प्राप्ति होई जहाँ होईते
Krishna Prapti
Prapti
Hoy
Hoy
Jaha
Jaha
Hoite
Hoy Te
गुरु मुख पद्मावाख्या चित्ते ते कोरियाख्या
Guru
Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte
Chite
Te
Te
Koriya Kya
गुरु मुख पद्मावाख्या चित्ते ते कोरियाख्या
Guru Mukha
Mukha
Padma
Padma Chitte
Chite
Te
Te
Koriya Kya
आर ना को आर ना कोरी हो मने आशा अरना
Arana
Kiyo
Koriyo Mane
Mane
Asha
आर ना कोरी हो मने आशा
Arana
Arana
Koriyo
Koriyo
Mane
Mane
Asha
Asha
श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati
श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति
Shri Guru Charane Rati
प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा
हे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा
जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा
जय
हे
प्रसाद
प्रसादे
पूरे
पूरे सर्व
सर्व
आशा
चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
दिव्य
दिव्य
ज्ञान
ज्ञान
हृदय
हृदय
प्रकाशितो
प्रकाशितो
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो
वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो
वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो
वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु
गुरु करुणा सिंधु
बंधु
लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना
लोकनाथ
लोकेरा जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना
लोकनाथ
लोकेरा जीवाना
हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया
हाँ प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पद छाया
ये बेजाश गुशुक त्रिभुवाना
ये
विजय घोषुत्री भवाना
ये बेजाश गुशुक त्रिभुवाना
ये विजय घोषुत्री भवाना
श्रील प्रभुपाद लेलो शरणा
लीला प्रभुपाद लैलो शरणा
श्री गुरुदेव लेलो शरणा
श्री गुरुदेव
लैलो शरणा
जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा
जय
प्रभुपदा
प्रभुपदा जय
प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
जय गुरुदेवा 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 श्रील गुरुदेवा
जय गुरुदेवा 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 श्री गुरुदेवा
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य हरि बोल
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील गुरुदेव की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि
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 बोल
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna, very
Prabhuji.
nice.
Hope I did not make many mistakes. I'll make, Prabhuji. Please forgive me.
You did very nice. So beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, so can you request Meena Mataji to lead Mangalacharan prayers? We all follow behind you. Every shloka, Mataji. Meena.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानं तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
ॐ
Timirandasya
शलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूत् स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति सर्वपदातिकम्।
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
पदान्तिकम्।
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुत वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुयुत वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं सागरजतं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तव जीवं सदावतं सदायुतं जना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यं देवं श्रीराधाकृष्ण पदं सह ललिता विशाखात्म च
वन्देऽहं
ॐ श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून्
श्रीपादकमलं श्रीगुरुन्
वैष्णवंश्च
वैष्णवंश्च
श्रीरूपं
श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं
सजीवं
तद्वैतं
तद्वैतं
परिजना
परिजनसहितं
सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सहगणा ललिता
ललिता
श्रीविशाखान्वितश्च।
हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते।
हे
हे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
करुणा
करुणा
सिन्धु
सिन्धु
करुणा सिन्धु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धो
जगत्पते
जगत्पते गोपेश
गोपेश
गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते।
तप्त कंचा गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणामी हरिप्रिया।
काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधा
Vrindavaneshwari
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
शुभानु
भानुस्तु ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये।
नमो मञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
च कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिना इति नामिले।
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने इति नामिने।
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्तादेशतारिणि।
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे।
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद।
जय श्री कृष्ण
Krishna
चैतन्य
Chaitanya
प्रभु
Prabhu
नित्यानंद
Nityananda
यद्वैत
Shri
गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृन्द।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
राम
Rama Rama
राम
Rama
राम
Hare
हरे
Hare.
हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Hare,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Rama,
हरे
Hare
राम
Rama,
राम
Rama
राम
Rama,
हरे
Hare
हरे।
Hare.
हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू
हरे
प्रभु जी।
Thank you, Mataji. So beautiful, Mataji. Okay, so we got devotees joined. Hare Krishna, Lalita Mataji, Aaron Prabhuji. Thank you for joining. Then let me know. Also, we got Chakrapani Prabhuji also joined. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay, so let me say saludos to the Part.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so Prabhuji, you wanted to take over, or you want a minute or so, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, I would need 1 minute more just to open the presentation. Meanwhile, you can, if you want to speak something, you can discuss.
Prabhuji, so there is a Premadvani place, so meanwhile devotees will lead. Can you request Gauringi Mataji to lead the Premadvani place, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sure Prabhuji. जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्टा ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की
जय।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
नाम आचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की
जय।
कौन फाउंडर आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की
जय।
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय।
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
नवदीप धाम की
Jai.
जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
गंगा माई की
Jai.
यमुना माई की
Jai.
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की
Jai.
संकीर्तन यज्ञ की
जय
बृहत मृदंगा की
जय
समवेत भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
जय
गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hari
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 Hari Bol.
हरि
Bol
बोल
Bol.
all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
Krishna.
All
Hare
glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
कृष्ण
All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
All good.
ओम
Prabhupada, Srila
Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna.
ki jai.
Jai.
जय
Hare. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much, Mataji. So beautifully done. Okay, thank you so much. So with that one, all the prayers are done. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Krishna Katha and also Rajaponi presentation by Chakrapani Prabhuji. Okay, so this is the third session. So we have already done 2 sessions on the Rajaponi. Okay, so I think hope all devotees are aware of it. And we got Arun Prabhuji joined and Radha Sevika Mataji newly joined. And Meena Mataji. So 3 devotees newly joined for this presentation. So just to recap, so Chakrapani Prabhuji is the founder of Historica organization, and he is the author of Mahabharat Myth or History, that book as well. And he has been working along with the governmental organizations and the historical facts to bring out all the evidences like that. So in the archaeology department. And he is also working with the IIT Tirupati closely in just mapping the historical evidences like that. So to excavate and identify the historical events that is related to Krishna especially. And in this part of this project, Prabhuji is trying to map some of the historic places, the Mora village and the in and surroundings that village. There are around 64,000 historical facts have been identified, and using the latest technologies as a pilot project, Prabhuji is trying to provide to complete this project and submit to the government so that government would fund more widely. Okay, so that is the motto behind it. So that India is going to be the heritage for all the um, the history, the legacy which we have about Sanatana Dharma. Okay, that is the mood. So I request Chakrapani Prabhuji to take over the session and to speak on it. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for kindly accepting and trying to speak on this one. Hare Krishna.
So can you hear me, Prabhu, now?
Yes,
Ma'am.
yes, Prabhuji, yes, I can.
So thank you so much for giving this opportunity for speaking today. And I think today is going to be the third consecutive week, and I also think that possibly today will be the final session where we will be covering about history of Braj. So how many of you have attended the previous session, and anybody would like to share their thoughts and experiences? We have completed 2 sessions so far. One is about all the history of Krishna and Mahabharata we covered in the first session. And the second session, we went a little deeper into archaeology and how it works on Dwarka and all that. So then now today we are going to specifically speak about the Mora project, what we are planning in Mora, and what will happen, what will come out and all that. So love to hear from anyone, like to share your thoughts about the previous 2 sessions.
Any devotees?
Thank Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Just very briefly, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of a lot of myths that people have, like Mahabharat and lots of our ancient pastimes. They are considered as myths, and you are trying to prove that it's not a myth through various things that you already found in lots of other countries. The evidence has been found, and yeah, so you're just trying to alleviate that, and you're giving you want to do this project for the future generation and try and use various technologies to identify what's hidden underneath various layers under the ground, just to just find out what's follow the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well, because he wanted people to excavate and find all the historical places. So, and you are trying to follow that path. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really amazing description. Anybody else also has any feedback before we start about the sessions, 2 sessions we conducted so far?
Sanchita Mataji, you wanted to share, Mataji, anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Yeah, so you have basically been trying to follow the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he had asked, like to one of the words he used in one of the, I don't remember the exact reference, but one of the shlokas he mentioned about Uddhara, so excavate. And he had instructed the 6 Goswamis to do that, who have previously done, and because of them, because at one point of time Vrindavan wasn't there, it was covered, after the invasions, it was covered as a forest, and it became away from eyes. So he instructed the 6 Goswamis to excavate and find out. So all these different Radha Madan Mohan, the different deities of Radha Damodar, Radha Madan Mohan, and the other deities, they were found like that, and Vrindavan was found. So but of course everybody has, like in this mortal earth, we have a limit, so they could do only so much. But you believe through all these 3 years of experience and the sky X-ray from the sky, as you mentioned, like to take pictures, and you have seen that, like through the pictures, that there's so many buried places over there, and that has been like references from different places. Like the earlier was 2300 years ago in Madhya Pradesh, where we have the earliest Jagannath, Baladeva and Subhadra inscriptions. Like one we have in the Mora inscriptions, like in a well in near Braj. If I might be wrong with the places, but I don't have a good memory. I'm trying to recollect. And then you have tried to match with the history, for which you have been done extensive work in the Mahabharata book, where you mentioned about Megasthenes, like when he came, he mentioned they mentioned, like he mentioned through a verse that, like how there was a river was it was not called Jamuna, but Jubarasiya, and there was I can't, I know Prabhu, but I can't remember exact words. And also through in Turkey, in other parts, Afghanistan, in London, also in the Mitrayam. So all these places you have researched and found out there are like excavated things which are like artifacts, 6,400. I don't remember the exact number, but there have been. So it has, and even in Denmark, like as far as Denmark, so in different places of the world, there are some artifacts which have been found, and when we match them, we find that and even the 5 Vrishnis, I think from the Yadu dynasty and all. So all these, like that, you're trying to connect that this is the itihasa. These are not myths, and it happened. And it has got connections with the Vedas as well. So in some parts of the Vedas, there are reference to the Mahabharata, where about Dhritarashtra and few other characters, like which says that it happened. As per the research, it says the Vedas, they were written after the Mahabharata, so there was references in that in Rig Veda as well, and that's all, Prabhu, I can remember. And so, yeah, so the main project now you're doing is, as Jai Mataji mentioned, in Mora and Tosh village. So, because these places are not very densely populated, and you believe that through your foundation that there are much more things which are buried, and you like want to do a pilot project to find out those, and you have a meeting in few months with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, and before that you want to do a pilot project over this place, for which you want to buy some satellites and some high-tech devices which will help you in your project, and then so that it gets funded by the government, agrees to it, and if it's funded with Krishna's mercy, then you can continue exploring the rest of Raj and other parts of India as well, Ayodhya and the rest of it, yeah. And you also, in the final part, you showed some clippings about Dwarka, the buried some of the things, and there it was an inscription which I asked like in which language it's written. You mentioned it's one of the Indus Valley's language, I guess, and I forgot what it meant, but yeah. Yeah, Mahakacha Sape something.
Mahakacha Sapaha.
Yeah. Thank you. Mahakacha Sapa. So yeah, that's an inscription referring to the sea god. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. This was one of the most comprehensive summaries which I ever heard, especially after 1 week, somebody coming up and giving such amazing descriptions. Even the point wise, you're trying to, you have very good memory, and it really goes to show that, you have really got the subject quite well. So really appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate this group for having this kind of a listening, it's really fantastic. Because I personally have done like more than 500 seminars, I would say. And generally, what happens is after a week, people are able to remember 1 or 2 details, 3 or 4 details, maximum 5 details. Now we have Sanchita Mataji, it was right? It was Sanchita Mataji, right?
Yes, Mataji is very brilliant in remembering all those things. Everything.
Summarizing the entire thing, and also summarizing what we are going to do, what we have done, what is the possibility, what is the vision, what exactly findings. So really appreciate that. It was really fantastic summary of whatever we have covered in the last 2 sessions. So without further delay, we'll start with today's session. So I think because we have got already a very good overview. So basically, it was Krishna's arrangement that Mataji gives the overview so that I don't need to cover the overview now. We have got a quite good overview now. So we can go straight to this topic. Especially overview is important for those who are coming for the first time. I think 2 of them are coming for the first time, right? 2 devotees I heard coming.
3 devotees, Meenakshi Mataji, Radhaseka Mataji, and Ren Prabhuji.
Right. So welcome to 3 of you. So today you want to see our scriptures from a very different perspective. All those who have been coming really have enjoyed and relished, at least as far as I understand and as I believe, that they have enjoyed the sessions, the last 2 sessions. Today we're going to speak specifically about the project, about Braj, about the potential of what is possible in Braj, and why Braj is so special and what is possible in Braj. So something from that perspective we're going to see today. So let me quickly do the screen sharing. Okay, here we go. And we start with this verse as a recollection to what we have covered in the previous session. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. In this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives this instruction to Sanatana Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, O Sanatan, okay, let me read out the verse. Tumiha kariha bhakti shastrera prachar, mathuraya lupta tirthera kariha udhara. That Tumiha, you also, kariha, should perform propagation of the revealed scriptures of devotional service in Mathura of the lost places of pilgrimage, should make recovery, or in other words, excavation. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, O Sanatana, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the land of Mathura, or in other words, the land of Braj. So, how amazing is this that this is a direct instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he instructs the Goswami, specifically he instructs Sanatana Goswami to bring out the lost places of pilgrimage of the Lord. Now, the fantastic thing about this inscription, this shloka, is that this is an order to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So we should see from that perspective, because Sanatan Goswami did his part, Rupa Goswami did his part, and also multiple other acharyas did their part. And then we had the Vaishnava acharyas from other sampradayas, they did their part. But the wonderful thing is that still there is a lot more to be done. Why? Because with the progress of time, a lot of history gets destroyed, a lot of sites get destroyed, or they get depleted, or they get damaged, or some of them are lost. So, we are coming up with a very unique and powerful approach by which we are pretty sure that a lot of Indian heritage, Indian history which was lost is going to come out. Okay, just a moment. I am. Okay. So today's session, we are going to cover on a bit about Mora. Okay. And so with this verse, we started. Now, what is Braj Heritage Preservation? Okay. Braj Heritage Preservation is basically the scientific documentation, protection, and revival of culturally important sites in Braj. So what exactly will happen is we are going to do archaeological exploration, cultural revival. This will lead to heritage and spiritual tourism, and we plan to achieve it by modern technology. Now, how and why this is important? So for that, we need to quickly understand from this particular presentation. You see, this is our presentation which we made on the history of Braj. So we'll quickly cover that. So any historical site, now Braj is extremely important for any Vaishnava. And in fact, for any practitioner of Sanatana Dharma, Braj is an extremely important site. Now, why Braj is important? Because this is the place from which Krishna had done his childhood pastimes. And Krishna, as we know, is the most important personality in the Sanatana Dharma tradition. Why? Because he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is the pivotal text for every Hindu Sanatani, not just for, Vaishnava. For everyone, Bhagavad Gita is the most important historical text. Right? So just a moment. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is the most important historical text for any Sanatani, not just for okay, just a moment. I've logged in through my phone just to make sure it's playing properly. Okay. So, for the practitioners of Sanatana Dharma, it's extremely important to understand that Braj is the key to a lot of historical questions, a lot of queries which we have related to whether Krishna really appeared or what was the history of the Vaishnav tradition, and what was the actual Leela studies of Krishna, whether the Yadavas really existed or not. All that answers can be got when we do a comprehensive mapping and exploration of the land of Braj. Now, in India, the thing is, okay, so I think many of you might know this background about our organization, that we have official collaborations with IIT Kanpur and IIT Tirupati. And now we are entering into a third collaboration with another IIT. So this is a great news that a third IIT is also, joining the picture. So this IIT is specializing in Indian knowledge systems, IKS, which is a dream project of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So this particular IIT is going to help us with cultural mapping as well. They have many experts in cultural mapping. Now, when we speak of Braj, and when we speak of any ancient landscape like Braj or Varanasi or Ayodhya, it is important to understand that how this mapping happened. Now, why mapping is important? See, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, as you might have seen in this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Mathura. Before that, he says, you should you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and excavate the lost places. Now, how do you know that which place is lost? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us to excavate the lost places of pilgrimage. How do you know that a place is lost? Anyone like to answer this? How do you know that a particular place related to Krishna or the Vamsha of Krishna is lost? Anyone like to answer this?
Would it be mentioned in any scriptures?
Wonderful. Wonderful. So we have a literary reference. Okay, listen to this very carefully, guys. Many things related to history will get cleared in this one equation. When you have a literary reference, literature reference, saying that a so and so event had happened in so and so place. For example, Krishna, killed a particular personality, a demon, or whatnot, in a particular place. That has been mentioned in a scripture. We have a literature reference, like in Bhagavatam, for instance. We don't know where that place is exactly. How do we find it? Now, this is my second question now. We have a literary reference that Krishna killed a particular demon in a particular so-and-so place. How do we know that this happened in this place? Anyone like to answer this?
By collecting some evidences, or if anything is left, but it is very hard to find those historical things. For
Can you be
example,
more specific if you can?
for example, if Aristasura, he was killed by Krishna, which is nearer to Radha Kund. So that we can understand from the scriptures, which is nearer. And later on, immediately based on the gopis, later on Krishna, so he has made the Shamakunda available. Later on Radharani, along with all the gopis, they also made Radhakund. So it's nearby.
Perfect. So what Prabhuji is saying is basically the devotional tradition. Okay. So you can see three columns here. One, Mataji mentioned literature. That's basically the textual mentions. That in the literature it is said that so and so event happened in so and so place. Then we have a tradition, culture, folk, and memory of people that, people say, my grandfather told me that this lila happened in this place. So that's basically a tradition which is coming for maybe hundreds and possibly thousands of years. We don't know. So we have two ways to verify. Both these ways are very important, no doubt, but another evidence completes the picture, and that is the archaeological record. Now, the question is, how would you find archaeological evidence of Krishna killing a particular demon, for example? Anybody like to answer this?
We may find the demons, the skeletons, or something like that, possibly. But that I'm just guessing, Prabhuji.
Okay, anybody else like to try?
Yes, Prabhu.
Visiting that.
In some temples, they might have some sculptures showing
the pastimes, right? Like for example, if he's
But
having
that may not be the exact period of Krishna. If somebody says that, how would you answer that?
one thing which comes to my mind, so there's a particular place in Vraj where there's a marking on the stone where, I mean, as per the local, you can say devotees, they say that where both Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they came together, and there's 1 foot of Krishna and 1 foot of Radharani. So I'm just guessing something like that, like maybe where we have foot marks or things like that.
Okay, that still is devotional tradition. It is not archaeological record.
Going to that place, Prabhu, going to that place and finding out.
Identifying
Okay.
the
Yeah, please.
identifying number of years years of old that object, any object is available holding that.
Great. You're coming closer. Okay. Anybody else like to refine further what Prabhuji said?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, probably carbon dating of the materials which they found and finding out how many years back it was being fossil or something like that.
Wonderful. So let me refine it now. You see, if Krishna did any particular important activity in any important place, which has also been mentioned in literature, and people are recording that in a devotional tradition, wouldn't that be logical that there were some kind of worship sites in that place? It makes sense, right? That's may not be immediately during the period of Krishna, maybe 100 years later, 500 years later, 1000 years later. There would be some kind of a worship structure. Do you all agree with this? If it is important enough to be mentioned in a literature, definitely people would have some kind of worship structure in that place. For example, I'll give you an example for this. There is a place in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so that's considered as a place where the Yakshagana episode happened. You know the Yakshagana episode in Mahabharata? Each Pandava comes to the Yaksha and he asks question, and then he keeps arresting all the Pandavas. And finally, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he answers him nicely, and then the Yaksha releases all the Pandavas. Some of you might know this story. Now the thing is, there is a village in Uttar Pradesh which claims that this is the place where that Yaksha episode happened. Yaksha Prashna, sorry, it's not Yakshagana, it's Yaksha Prashna. Yaksha Prashna episode happened. Now in that village, you know what has been found from the archaeological record? Surrounding that village, lot of Yaksha deities, Yaksha statues have been found. One. Okay. Second, there is a 2000-year-old inscription found in that place, in that village, which refers to the 5 Pandavas. Not all 5 Pandavas' names are not mentioned. It is mentioned in sequence, like Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna. Bhima's name is broken. Arjun's name is mentioned. Yudhishthir's name is mentioned. Remaining Pandavas' names are broken. Okay, so from the tradition, people believe that this is where the Yaksha Prashna happened. We have many statues found around archaeological record of Yaksha episode. And also we have an inscription why would an inscription be carved there to mention that this is the place where the Yaksha episode happened? Now again, the inscription could also be classified as a devotional record because it's not directly in the period of Krishna. However, it's considered very valuable because it's of great antiquity. It's quite ancient. Now, coming with the same logic when we apply to the land of Braj, when there is an important site, definitely in some point or the other, people will construct some kind of a worship. They would have an inscription, they might have statues, they might have some arches or any kind of depiction to record the importance of the place. That's basically the archaeological record. It could also be said devotional tradition, but I classify devotional tradition as something which is existing today, prevailing today. Then we have the archaeological record, what is found in that place for thousands of years. Then we have the literary reference, literature, textual reference. So have I made this clear? If you all can show me a thumbs up, like, or any kind of symbol in your Zoom, that have you got it? This logic, what I'm trying to create, is that clear? Okay, great. Any of you are giving a thumbs up, great. So isn't that clear that when there is a historically important place, we would have a literary reference. That same place has been mentioned, has also a devotional tradition. People would say, this is the place where so and so thing happened. And then we have an archaeological record which also substantiates what is found there. Now, when we come to many sites in Braj, this is the story. We have literature saying that Krishna did so and so activities here, or the 5 Vishnus were worshipped here. And for that, we have a devotional tradition. Even now, in some villages, that particular thing has been followed and believed that this is where so and so thing happened. And luckily, archaeology also says the same thing. When you do archaeological digging or when you find statues and inscriptions, it also confirms the same thing. So it is a multi-perspective. So basically, one phase is the archaeological record, which we call as a scientific mapping or archaeological mapping. And on the other side, we have the cultural mapping. When I say culture, it includes the textual mapping and the devotional tradition. Both are coming under one component, one phase. How do you list the heritage sites in a historically important region like Braj? Is by combining these two phases and working with the two phases at the same time. One phase is the devotional tradition and the textual mentions. Another phase is the archaeological record. What is found here is validated here. What is found here is validated here, both ways. Now, again, a very interesting question. Let's see how many of you are churning your brains right now, Which one is important? Is the cultural data like devotional tradition and textual mentions, the literature, is that more important? Or is archaeology more important? What do you want? What do you say as more important? Anybody would like to answer this?
Scripture is important.
Okay. Anybody else has a different opinion? You can say different as well. We are churning out and coming to a
Both.
proper, both are important. Which is more important? If you can be little quick, we have a lot of topics to cover.
You
Which one is
can
more?
go for evidence.
Sorry?
Evidence, scripture or something.
Scripture is important.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we are dealing with a devotional crowd. So naturally, I expect people to stick with literature and devotion. But when I do programs in universities, you know what they say? Archaeology is more important. Archaeology is more important. Now, this does not validate what you said. I'm creating the background right now. See, when places like Egypt are found, or archaeological sites in the Mayan civilization and many other civilizations, there are not much literature or cultural data, textual mentions, and devotional tradition that does not exist for that place. So it is very difficult to interpret and understand what those structures and what those sites actually mean, what happened there. It's very difficult to understand. So if you have archaeological record, but you do not have a cultural setup like literature or devotional tradition to back it up, to understand it, your archaeological understanding remains incomplete. Whereas, if you have literature, if you have the devotional tradition, you may not have archaeology right now, but you can definitely find it in the future. It is better to have a literature yet to find archaeology. It is better than having archaeology and not understanding what it really means. Did I clear some big mystery about how history works? Did I make sense today? This is one of the $1 million understandings of why literature is important in comparison, or literature, culture, devotional tradition is important in comparison to archaeology. This does not devalue or put down the importance of archaeology. It is extremely important. As we call in the Pramanas, this is the Pratyaksha Pramana. And in Kali Yuga, Pratyaksha Pramana is given very high importance. No doubt, it's extremely important. Many times people have this, that seeing is believing. We see, we believe. However, without textual mentions and devotional tradition, the cultural part of it, it is difficult to get the full picture. So I'm creating a background of how Mora is going to be important. Right? I'm building that narrative here. So now, Mathura, or in general Braj. Braj was a very critical junction point between the north and south, east and west. When travelers from the west to east used to travel and east to west, or north to south and south to north, Braj was at a very pivotal point, very central point, right? So, especially on this side of Yamuna, I mean to say, the west of Yamuna, people used to travel a lot. So when they used to travel a lot, they would come from Indraprastha, Kurukshetra, Indraprastha, down to Braj. And then they go straight down to South India. And people from when used to come from Rajasthan, or what we call today as Sindh in the new country called Pakistan. So from there they used to come to Kashi or Ayodhya. They again would pass through Braj. The Braj was a very important central point. And it was so important that in the Buddhist period, you see, we had in India a Buddhist resurgence, a period where Buddhism was really prominent religion of the land. And in Buddhist text, there is a very important text called as the Anguttara Nikaya. Anguttara Nikaya. And in Anguttara Nikaya, and also the Jain Bhagavati Sutra, it's also a very ancient book. Anguttara Nikaya is 2,300 years old, and Bhagavati Sutra, if I remember correctly, around 2,000 years old. So in both these books, the mention of Shurasena Janapada is found. Now, who is Shurasena? Anybody knows who is Shurasena?
Yes, the Vasudeva's father.
Perfect. Grandfather of Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna's grand.
So, point is, the entire Janapada or the kingdom was named under the name of Shurasena. Right? Shurasena Mahajanapada. When we say Maha, we know it's great. Jana, people. Pada or Pada, where they will keep their feet. One of a specific type of people who belong to this kingdom or the king, their feet would be placed in these lands, and therefore it would be called as Mahajanapada, the great land of these people, where they existed. It's a very beautiful name. Can you see how beautiful the names are? Janapada, where the Jana used to keep their legs, or where the Jana are standing or staying or living, or they would walk around. So Mahajanapada, Shurasena Mahajanapada, and Shurasena Mahajanapada is the place, the land from which Krishna did all his childhood pastimes. Now, if you might be aware, we covered in the previous session, there was a traveler by the name of Megasthenes, who wrote in his book Indica that in the land of Methora, right, we all clear, Methora is Mathura. In the land of Methura, there was a river flowing by the name of Jobares, which is Jamuna. And in the land where Methura existing, Jobares is flowing. And in this place, there is an ancient tribe or ancient group of people. They were called as Saurasenoi. We decoded that it is Shaurasena, means of the Shurasenas. Basically the Yadavas or descendants of Krishna. So the descendants of Krishna existed in Mathura where the Jobares, Jamuna was flowing, and they worshipped this personality by the name of Heracles. Who is Heracles? Hari Kula Isha, Hari, who is the Kula Isha of the Shurasena people. We saw that in the previous session. I'm pretty sure many of you remember that. Now, this reference of Megasthenes is around 2300 years old, referring to Mathura. Clear? He's saying Mathura and he's saying that Shurasenas existed in this place. That reference is further confirmed of around 100 or 200 years back. This literature, Anguttara Nikaya, which is 100, 200 years before Megasthenes, this literature also confirms the same thing. That India, see what we know as India was bigger during the times of Megasthenes, it's extended all the way till Afghanistan, entire Pakistan was India. We also had some parts of Iran possibly was understood to be India at that time. But anyway, so 16 Mahajanapadas, 16 powerful kingdoms existed during the Buddhist period. And one of them was Shurasena Mahajanapada. Now, my question is, if Mahabharata is mythology, if Krishna never existed, if the Yadavas were all mythological, why would a Buddhist text mention about Shurasena Mahajanapada, the kingdom of the Shurasenas? Does it make sense? Right? So the point is, when Krishna was on this planet, in his physical presence, he did Leelas, he migrated all the Yadavas, all the Shurasena Janapada people, the Vrishnis, from Braj, from Mathura. He took them to a very new place called as, anybody like to say, where they shifted?
Dwarka.
Dwarka. They shifted to Dwarka, and after 36 years, the 36th year of Krishna's ruling, the entire city of Dwarka was submerged. Right? So, entire city of Dwarka was submerged. And when the city got submerged, Krishna instructed Arjuna that you please take the remaining people, and you go to this place called as, anybody knows where Krishna asked all the remaining Yadavas to be taken, like the women and the old people and the children, they all shifted to a new place. You know which place?
Indraprastha.
Yes, that is Indraprastha, which we know today as the city of, anybody, any guesses?
Delhi.
Delhi, correct. So they shifted to Delhi. And after some time, what happened is, from Indraprastha, many of these descendants of Krishna shifted to Braj. So it was a full circle from Braj to Dwarka to Indraprastha and back to Braj. Right? Do I make sense now? So the point is that the Braj region was controlled by the Shurasena people. That is why Megasthenes, Buddhist literature, Jain literature, all of them confirm the existence of these Yadavas in the land of Braj. Let us have no doubt about the reality of Braj as the place of Krishna, as the land of Krishna. It is absolutely the land of Krishna. It is absolutely the land of the descendants of Krishna. It is absolutely the land of Krishna's pastimes. There is no doubt about it. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So, the point to be understood is this, that when we work with archaeology, when we work with mapping, when we work with excavations, what happens is many of the sites are continuously inhabited. Mathura during a certain period of time, it was inhabited, it was prominently and dominantly Buddhist and Jain. Around 2200 years back, 2300, 400 years back. Therefore, you'll find a lot of Buddhist temples, viharas, and Jain temples in Mathura. But that does not at any point say that that this was not the land of Krishna. It was the land of Krishna. Buddhism, Jainism, and Vaishnavism coexisted in Mathura. Okay, so we have an ancient layer. Okay, so let's say like we have the current layer. I'm not putting the current layers on top. The current layers, we might have 2, 3, 4 layers on top of this. I'm not putting that. So the most ancient layer would be the Shunga and Kushan layer, which we would find after a lot of digging, which is around 2000 years old. Then you do further digging, you will go to 2700 years old, northern black polished ware. It's one type of pottery. Means one type of people used to live and they had a specific type of pottery that's called as NBPW, not northern black polished ware. And then you dig further, then you find this very famous potteries called as the OCP, ochre color ware pottery, and the PGW, painted grey ware pottery. You go deeper, in some areas you might find more ancient layers. Now, in any case, the point to be noted here is that we are living on a continuous civilization. As I told you in the previous sessions also, if you remember, we discussed about this. We are living on top, on top, on top, on top, on top, on top of previous civilizations. And then we see, where is the evidence of Krishna? Where is the evidence of Mahabharata? Where it is? See below your feet. See below your feet, especially in ancient cities like Kurukshetra, in Hastinapur, in Braj. Just look down. The evidence are right below your feet. But we don't want to excavate because people are very, hell-bent about protecting their land. Nobody would like to give up their land for excavations, especially in crowded cities like Delhi, Mathura, Vrindavan. Vrindavan is no more Vrindavan, in the typical sense. It's more of a city now. Vrindavan is more of a city. So excavation becomes very difficult. So our point is that if any mapping and excavation has to happen, it will be predominantly in the villages of Braj, because Mathura and Vrindavan are highly overcrowded and the property prices are increasing. People are fighting like crazy to make their villas and properties and flats and whatnot. So, for instance, if you take up this land, it's called as Bahaj. Bahaj is, okay, while I'm speaking, I would also like to, show this live so that Bahaj archaeological excavations. Bahaj is near Braj. You see this? 4,500-year-old civilization. It could be much ancient, but it's definitely 4,500. See this? The Archaeological Survey of India has uncovered a significant 3,500 to 4,500-year-old archaeological site in Bahaj village, Dig district, Rajasthan. This is on borders with UP. This also comes under Chaurasi Coast Braj. It found evidence of a paleo channel of an ancient river, settlement layers of 5 distinct cultural periods, advanced metallurgical furnaces, iron copper tools, and so on, and 15 yagya kunda. Can you imagine 15 yagya kunda? People used to perform yagyas there. Tanks for Shakti worship, terracotta images of Shiv and Parvati. So can you imagine that this is just short drive away from the Govardhan Parvat? You see this? I'm showing it to you on Google Maps. This is the Deeg. Okay, it automatically shifts to Deeg. Deeg is the nearby town. Bahaj archaeological site. You see this? When you type it, it will show you the exact location. So Bahaj is the place where, okay, it's not showing here. I'll just show it approximately. Bahaj is on the way from here. You see this? Bahaj. This particular excavation site, Bahaj, Deeg, Rajasthan. Phenomenal site for excavations. Okay, so now when you see the distance from Govardhan, it's around see this, just 10 kilometers, less than 10 kilometers. Less than 10 kilometers and you reach Govardhan. Actually, it should be around 6 kilometers because this point of Govardhan is much nearer. So what I'm trying to say is that there are tons and tons of archaeological sites. Now, Bahaj, you might wonder why I'm trying to highlight Bahaj so much. I'll show you some images of Bahaj site. Okay, so this is images. See, these are the different findings in Bhaj. An archaeological site which is completely unexpected. You see the current layer. This is the current layer. People are living here. This is the houses of the current layer. And when you go 40 feet deeper, that's the ground layer of that time. Around 4,000 years back, 5,000 years back. So that's why what happens is as time progresses, ancient sites keep on getting buried because the ground level keeps increasing. It's very natural, nobody's planning to do it. Many of these archaeological sites get buried automatically due course of time. So see the kind of things which have been found now. Nobody knew that there is an archaeological site like this in Bahaj, near Govardhan, and that would bring out such amazing archaeological sites. But it came out. And this came out by chance. It was not mapped also. Nobody did a comprehensive mapping and all that. It came out by chance. And the shocking thing is it has not been still covered properly in media. A lot of marketing is still to be done, promotion is still to be done. Now, coming to our site, which we are speaking now, which is the Mora site. Okay, I'll just continue with this. See this. So Govardhan, this is the archaeological site of Bahaj, which we discussed. I'll skip this because we already have discussed a lot about it. So you all must be aware that there are the 12 ones of Krishna, 12 forests of Braj. Many of you are aware, right? Braj has 12 famous forests. And many of these forests are having many archaeological sites which we don't even know where it exists. Like Mahavan, Nandagaon, right? And then Gokul and all that. So many of the sites, were lost. Sorry, I have like a small cough which I'm dealing with. So see this place. For example, you take Gokul. This is the place where it is Krishna's childhood pastimes happen. Gokul. And archaeologically, nobody has done any excavations here. Why? Because we don't even know what site is existing underground. Culturally, by Vallabhacharya and other Vaishnavacharyas believe that this is the place where Krishna did his childhood pastimes of Gokul. Now, imagine what mapping will do. What mapping will do is that it will help you see the ancient sites and ancient layers underground in a particular zone. Like, for example, when you take the Gokul zone, mapping will tell you what's below. And when you know what's below, the next thing is obviously excavations. And when you do excavations, you might find ancient statues, evidences of Krishna's period and civilization and whatnot. And most importantly, temples. Right? So this is the potential of, what is underground in the land of Braj. So when we analyze the spectrum of evidence, we understand that Mathura has the highest number of archaeological research happened. Whereas when we come to Mahavan, Nandagaon and Gokul, it is more of the traditional and cultural belief that so and so pastime happened here. Why? Because not much of excavation happened in these lands. So the key insights from our research, we found that Mathura is the archaeological bedrock. It is the place where so much of archaeological sites have been found because naturally it was a city. It was the headquarters of the Shurasena Mahajanapada, the Shurasena kingdom. It also had evidences of palaces. It is the place where Yadavas used to live, most of them, and so on. And the insight too, which we have, is that the Braj landscape itself has a lot of evidences. Insight 3 is that modern pilgrimage map is a medieval creation, which was lost and recreated, and textual sources must be critically assessed. So these are the 4 critical understandings which we got after doing a comprehensive mapping of this entire region. So when we understand Braj, we get an idea that Braj Braj is a treasure house of archaeology. Not much research has happened. So, in short, where history is layered and the land holds memory, that is the enduring landscape of Braj. So, we give a very brief background about what is Braj, why it is important, and all that. Now, without further delay, we'll quickly come into the Mora archaeological site. This is one of our project files where we describe about the Braj Geoarchaeology Mapping Initiative. So, our organization Historica is in collaboration with IIT Tirupati, IIT Kanpur, UP State Archaeology Department is also willing to support us, and National Remote Sensing Center ISRO is willing to help us with the data and also skill train our people in terms of mapping. And Discovery Channel is willing to cover our initiatives in the form of a documentary film. So these are our various experts. And these are our various seminars which I've given. I've come very close to the UK, but I was just a little behind. I would say I came up till Belgium. I would, as you can see here, presentation at a temple in Italy. Hopefully this year I plan to visit the UK. So the point is that this research and my work has been appreciated throughout the world, in Europe, in India, and among government officials and academicians across the country. And these are three of my main books: Mahabharata Myth or History, Science in Ancient India, and Archaeology from the Skies. Now, the thing is, 90% of ancient India is still not excavated. Now, this is a real truth that 90% of ancient India is still not excavated. Let me again put it. Just imagine 90% of ancient India is still not excavated. How many temples, how many historical sites, how many evidences of civilizations, how many scientific advancements of ancient Indians, how much of forts, chariots, weapons, deities, whatnot. All of that is still not excavated, including historical cities like Kurukshetra, Dwarka, Hastinapur, Indraprastha, Mathura, and so on. So this figure is not given by me. This is by a reputed archaeologist by the name of Sarah Partek from the UK. She is, I presume she's an American working in the UK. So the Mora project, okay, the project which we are planning in the region of Mora, let me give you a quick background about it. So the goal is to uncover, digitally preserve and protect India's forgotten heritage for the future. And the technologies which we plan to use is synthetic aperture radar, LiDAR, infrared thermography, ground penetrating radar, and GIS. What are the objectives? To detect ancient structures, preserve the heritage, and establish a scalable model. So one particular mapping we do successfully. Now I'll give you a background. See, mapping in general, it is very much a developing subject matter throughout the world, not just in India. Throughout the world, not much progress has been done in archaeological mapping compared to other fields. Like, for example, take AI, take computer science, or take programming, take, for example, development of phones, communication systems, and all that. Archaeology in general is a neglected profession, or very few people take it up. And even in that, archaeological mapping is further neglected, or rather, I would say, given lesser importance. Therefore, we are in a very pristine and a prime time in history. Right now, in 2026, we are at an amazing moment in history where very few people have understood the importance of archaeological mapping. This technology has helped identify 17 buried pyramids in Egypt. Now, why I say this is important in the context of Braj is Braj has faced 5 consecutive invasions in the last 1500 years. First, by the Hun dynasty, the Huns who attacked Mathura and the surrounding regions. Then the land of Braj, the land of Braj was attacked by Mahmud Ghazni. Then it was attacked by the Sultanate of Delhi. around 400 years back, it was attacked by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. And finally, it was attacked by Ahmad Shah Abdali. So because of series of invasions and attacks, and many of these ancient sites were destroyed, and also due to natural causes, we might have lost many of these ancient sites. Therefore, both natural and human causes, there is a lot of potential that many of the site remains are still underground, or many of the neglected sites may have been just left and it would have been covered, just like the Bahaj archaeological site. What space archaeology will do, what mapping will do, it will help us locate exactly an archaeological site. And once we do that, we'll be able to map it with the cultural data, literature, and cultural data, map that together and get a full idea of what is a particular site. So how does it work? So in the first month, we do satellite imagery collection, collect all the satellite data related to a particular site. Like for example, if the Mora site, I think it's high time I show the Mora village on screen, because I don't think I have shown it before. Mora village, Vrindavan. The moment we say Mora village, you see, you find Moravel inscription and the statues. This land is already an archaeological hotbed. Okay, so when we go to Google Maps and we type Mora, you see, immediately you see this village called as Tosh. Now I'll explain the importance of this beautiful village called Tosh. Now this is the Mora village. See the location? It is when you travel from Vrindavan or from Mathura. Let's say you're traveling from Vrindavan. Okay, I'll just show you the maps. Why I'm saying this, I think when I take people to Braj Heritage Yatras, I'm taking one trip in the month of February as well. You see, this is Chatikara. I'm pretty sure many of you have been to Vrindavan and Braj. So when you travel from Vrindavan, we go to this place called as Chatikara Junction. This is the Chatikara Junction. We go a little ahead towards Delhi and we take the left road, Radhakund Road. And after crossing the bridge, we take left. We take left and go straight to crossing Bahulavan. This is the Bahulavan. Bahulavan, many of you would have heard, right? Bahulavan. We cross Bahulavan and then we reach this very important historically critical village called as Mora. This is the Mora village. Now imagine in this village, so many deities, so many archaeological sites have been found, and this Moravel inscription is also found in this region. Remember, we discussed about the Moravel inscription. Many of you might remember. I'll still tell it again. This is the Moravel inscription. And in this inscription, the Panchavira Vrishni's names are mentioned. Panchavira Pratima. Two words are mentioned. Panchavira, which is referring to the Panchavira Vrishni, and the word Pratima is mentioned. Pratima means statues or deities, or in other words, they were worshipped here. Clear? Is that clear? Right? So this particular inscription is found here in this village, Mora village. And many statues have already been found in Mora village. Right next to Mora, we have this beautiful village called as Tosh. When you zoom into Tosh, you find that Tosh also has a kund. Seems to be quite an ancient kund. Okay, Ganesh Tree's photo is just for depiction. We have not many photos of the kund, I guess. Okay, anyway. So we have a beautiful kund. Now, why Tosh is important? I'll tell you why. Tosh is important because see, this is Mora and this is Tosh. In Mathura, an inscription found in Mathura says it refers to the word Tosh. And that inscription from Mathura is around 2000 years old. And it speaks of the worship of Krishna. So, trying to collect and connect the dots, you will get an idea that Mora refers to an inscription, okay, Panchavira Vrishni, and Tosh, evidence of Krishna worship, is documented about Tosh in an inscription in Mathura. And who are the Panchavira Vrishni? You try to document it, then I found that they are depicted in the form of statues. They're depicted in the form of statues in Andhra Pradesh. This is the Panchavira Vrishni statues. Who are the Panchavira Vrishni? Balram, Vasudev Krishna, Pradyumna, Samba, Aniruddha. These five are the Panchavira Mahavrishni. Okay. 5 Vrishnis in the form of a statue in Andhra Pradesh. Now, who are these 5 Vrishnis? This is documented in Vayupuran. Vayupuran says Balram. So Vayupuran says Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Samba. These are the 5 great Vrishnis, the Panchavira Mahavrishnis. So can you see what is mentioned in an inscription is confirmed in the form of a statue, in the form of statues found in Andhra Pradesh, which is also confirmed in a literary evidence. So archaeology, tradition, literature, all of them are coming together to prove one point. To prove one point that this region, Mora and Tosh, was a hotbed of Vrishni Kula worship. Panchavira Vrishni worship was very common and very prominent in this land. So, what we are trying to do in our archaeological mapping project is to do a comprehensive mapping of this region of. Okay, let me quickly show that slide. I think this is the one. Okay, yeah, got it done. So what we are basically trying to do is to do a comprehensive geospatial mapping, which is the archaeological mapping. And on the other side, we collect all the cultural data, whether it's writings of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vallabhacharya, cultural data, folk data, and all data related to about that place. Collect that. And also we have data from mapping. Combine those two and prepare a report. That's all the project is all about. Very simple, very simple, very simple, very straightforward. If we are able to do it comprehensively, this will be the first project in Braj, which is performed in this kind of manner, very scientific, at the same time very traditional as well. The report of this project will be presented to the Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath ji. So these are the different technologies like synthetic aperture radar, LiDAR, IR thermography, GPR, GIS. Now, I'll give you an example of how this technology works. Archaeological sites visible in SAR, in synthetic aperture radar. Just to give you an idea, you see, when you do mapping through one of these technologies called as synthetic aperture radar, watch carefully. This is an archaeological site. I mean, this is not so clear. You need high resolution. Let me show you different picture. Yeah. Can you see here? Again, this is not clear. What I can do, I can quickly play archaeologist finds a lost city on the internet. There's a very famous video. I'm not sure if you're able to hear the audio. I'll play the video. In case you're not able to see, I'm not able to hear the audio, please let me know. You're able to hear the audio?
No.
Okay, what
you need to share in the audience, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'll reshare again. Share sound and share again. Here we go. Now there's some problem with my system only. It's not playing. No, audio is not coming. So you can just see, it will give you an idea. This video I can ask Prabhuji to share. You see this is this mapping which happened from top. You cannot see normally from when you see from Google Maps, you'll not be able to see anything. Okay. This video went viral, more than 1 million views. This is Mayan site. See, once you remove all the greenery, you will see the ancient Mayan ruins, South America. Can you see this purple color patches, right? This is through LiDAR. This is the kind of maps you get. So when we speak, see this, these are all the remains of the civilization. Completely covered under forest. So LiDAR primarily works for forest areas. Synthetic aperture radar and IR thermography would work excellently well for brush. Okay, so there are different technologies which will work for different terrains. So this technology has created a revolution in mapping archaeological sites in South America in Mayan civilization. So what we are speaking right here is a very scientific thing which has been proven to be successful all over the world, especially in civilizations like Egypt. I'll give you this news report as well. You will understand how critical and amazing it is. This is a news report published on a very reputed scientific journal. I think it was published in science.org. You see this? Satellite imagery uncovers up to 17 lost Egyptian pyramids. Satellite imagery uncovers up to 17 lost Egyptian pyramids. 17 pyramids which were buried in the desert sands were located using satellite imagery. Can you imagine taking your GPR? Now, what is GPR? GPR is called as ground penetrating radar. See, GPR is a device you have to, many of you might have seen this device. Have you seen this device? People take this around to locate. So GPR is primarily used for locating sites which are below. Now, the difficult part is if you want to carry this in 2,500 square kilometers of brush, is that possible at all? 2,500 square kilometers, somebody goes around and it's not possible. Whereas when you do space archaeology, when you do geospatial mapping like SAR, LiDAR and all this, you can see the clusters of potential archaeological sites, and GPR is applied only on those sites where there is a potential archaeological site. Otherwise, you don't waste your money, energy, resources, manpower on places where you know for sure that there is nothing. That is why space archaeology is going to be the next big thing. It is going to be the next big thing. India's history will transform like nothing before. And today I had the fortune of speaking with a very, very reputed archaeologist from the Deccan College, Pune. He's also connected with the Prime Minister's office. So I presented to him about the possibility of this project. So he gave me an appointment to meet him on 29th of this month. So we're going to present about why these technologies need to be built here in India in the form of a prototype which will be replicated all over the country. So I'm going to pitch the importance of this. So our efforts are fully on in terms of making sure that this project is successful. Because my nature is that when we have entered something, in any case, it has to be done. We have to give our best effort. We cannot back off. So this project, our vision is that in Braj, Krishna's historical sites will start popping out like this. Now imagine sites which were lost, how important this now. Consider this from the perspective of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shloka. One should understand the broadcast revealed scriptures, excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Mathura. So when we use technology and map these historical sites, then connect that with the writings of the previous acharyas, the cultural data, folk data and all, we get the full picture of what is there in Braj. And once we do the complete Braj heritage mapping within a year or two, we are in such a good position to develop each of this site. The infrastructure of each of this site can be developed. It will have its own name, its identity, that will be prominently displayed in a board, and it will be populated on tourism websites, on travel websites and Google Maps. So Braj Heritage Circuit will beautifully come up. So this is the vision. And why we are starting with these villages of Mora and Tosh? Because they have the highest probability to find an archaeological sites. Because Moravel inscriptions refer to the word Pratima, which means deities. And the Mathura inscription says that Tosh was the place where worship happened. And many deities have been found in this land, Mora and Tosh. A lot of ancient statues have been found during excavations and digging. So when we do a comprehensive mapping, right, that is where this land will give a lot of treasures which are still underground and need to be brought out. So that's about it. I think there are a lot more to discuss, a lot more to share, but I'll conclude here saying that the land of Braj is at the pinnacle of a great discovery. So these are, the importance of the project. Quickly, I have given a background. I think most of it I've already covered. So what will happen is complete revival of Braj. In the span of 5 years, mapping of Braj, locating of archaeological sites, developing those sites, and so on. Together, we create a unified heritage intelligence system, digital, cultural, and archaeological sites, a planning tool for tourism and conservation, a new cultural economy for local communities. And this will be a landmark project in India's civilizational revival. So this is the Braj Heritage Mapping Project, specifically in the context of Mora and Tosh. We have also included Bahulavan here because Bahulavan also potentially has a lot of archaeological sites. So this is the beautiful land of Braj, and this is our project of locating and serving the land of Braj by bringing out its historical sites. May Krishna empower us in this seva. May Krishna show us the direction of how his history needs to be brought out, because it's only his desire and his will and his sanction that his land will be revealed to us. And without his desire, nothing will happen. So with this humble prayer to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, I conclude this session. And I pray that he may show me the way. It's my sincere desire for many years that I work on the archaeological sites related to Krishna. I've already, as many of you might be aware, have worked on many years on documenting the existing historical footprints and historical imprints of the Mahabharata and Krishna, which I've documented in my best-selling book, Mahabharata Myth or History. My intention now is to map the buried sites of Krishna and the buried sites of historical importance in the land of Braj. So with this, I really thank Amoga Prabhu and Vipina Bihari Prabhu and all the other devotees who gave me this opportunity to present. I think because of these 3 sessions, I got an extended family in UX Bridge who I think I have the you could say the privilege and audacity to claim that I can be associated with them when I come to the UK, which I hope to come this year or definitely by next year. So really, it was a great experience to be connected with all of you. I hope to be connected in the future as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I conclude here, and if there are any questions or comments, I would be eager to answer them. Hare Krishna.
Great. Thank you, Prabhuji. So beautifully presented this one. Again, some more deep details into more and Tosh. Okay, so maybe we request devotees to comment on this or any questions. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Maybe I'll just ask Arun Prabhuji, you wanted to share anything, your opinions, thoughts, or if you got any questions?
No, I'm just very mesmerized, Prabhu, and I mean, all glories to your service, and I hope, I'm pretty sure with the amount of research you have done and the devotees and the other team members you have met, it's going to be like a cultural revolution, and just very happy that in 5 years' time, um, the great achievements this project will achieve. So, thank you so much for all your hard work, and may Krishna, Yukuru Maharaj, and all the devotees, give you the blessings so that this becomes successful as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Pawan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Pawan Prabhuji. Pawan Prabhuji,
Hare
moment.
Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, it's time to unmute. Yeah, I joined a little bit late today, but just in time for this Prabhuji session. Yeah, no questions, but it's really good insights. Like we got to know the background, what it exactly about the layers, and sometimes we just see the site and think like, oh, there's nothing over there. It's thing is like as you mentioned, there are multiple layers we have to dig, and we get to know. Except the temples, temples are there since years, and just one question, like it's related to another archaeologistic site. Is it Ellora Caves? Sorry, what's there's a temple which was dug. The complete mountain was dug. That's what they used to say, isn't it? Is it near Ellora Caves? The, that one. Sorry, Prabhuji, you're on mute.
Kailash temple?
Kailash temple. Yeah.
It's called as Kailashanath Temple in the Ellora Caves.
Yes. Do you have information on that? I was a little bit curious when I first came across that, but was it really carved from the one single mountain, or oh my goodness, really? Without any tools like modern, even the modern tools cannot do it, isn't it?
Yeah, the
So,
thing is that such temples and structures could also be in other areas, not just in Ellora. It could
mhm,
also be some kind of temple like that, could also be not exactly a temple, a rock cut temple like that, because we don't have many hills in Braj, but we could definitely have other structures which are, buried. Like the specialty of a rock cut temple is that if any potential invader or someone is coming from outside, they could just put in a lot of sand and cover it. It will be preserved. Nobody will know that there is a site.
mhm,
There's- And when the invader is gone, you remove it and start your worship again. The
mhm,
same thing has happened with the Kurmanada temple in Srikakulam. Srikakulam near Visakhapatnam has the world's only Kurma temple, Kurma avatar.
mhm,
So that temple was covered by, I think, calcium carbide. I don't know exactly. It was a calcium material, white material, and they covered it fully. The people during the Mughal rule, they covered it fully with that material, so that the invader would think that it's a natural formation, and the temple was preserved luckily. So what space archaeology will do, what geospatial mapping will do, it will help us see what our ancestors preserved during difficult times.
mhm,
Not just those which were destroyed, not just those who were lost because of natural causes. There are also sites which were willfully covered because the situation was so difficult.
mhm. Yeah, makes sense, Prabhuji.
Sites will come out. Like, the magic is yet to come when proper mapping happens. It will be really magical. And now, with the advent of AI and how AI is penetrating, what took 10 years might complete in 1 month.
Yeah.
So that speed will come up. It's just a matter of time, just one small, in Hindi we call it the chingari, like one small, forest fire, just instigate one tree, it'll become a forest fire. So we are at that point in history where this forest fire is going to get initiated. It is just that people are not able to see that, which people like us in the history arena, we are able to see that in advance. But normally investor or government or the banks and people who have the money power, the muscle power of the finances, they are not able to see that right now. But once they see one side being mapped and brought out, then it will be a different ball game altogether. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, makes sense, Prabhuji. And one more question, like regarding, will the archaeologists able to recognize the methods of, the temples, how they are built? Like just in the case of Kailash, were they able to successfully find out like how it was
As
built
far
or
as
its
I understand,
symmetry?
as far as I understand, there is no clear theory, one theory regarding how it was. Some people believe that it was single rock structure. Most of them agree that it was a single rock which was carved. But how it was carved, there are differences of opinion. So I don't think it's easy to understand exactly how it, because somebody has constructed and they left it, and now we have no clear idea of how it was done.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, we got Radha Sevaka Mataji. Radha Sevaka Mataji also wanted to hear this presentation, so and we wanted to hear from Radha Sevaka Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for coming and sharing all these beautiful insights. And your work is invaluable, and just really good luck for it. It's amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mataji. Sanchita Mataji wanted to.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's like so. I heard the entire presentation with so. Really first appreciate that it's Krishna's mercy that you have recovered within 1 week, and so in 1 week the advancement you have made, like even speaking to this archaeologist from Deccan, and then making connections, so we can see the energy of Krishna, Krishna's energy helping you all throughout. So wish you all the best in that. And yeah, this presentation of today, one in detail, like what exactly you're going to do, was very informative. One question I had was like, all these different layers you mentioned, how did that form? How did that happen? Like with the one invasion, like, does how does it form? Like, yeah, how does land transform?
So as we told you before in the previous sessions, also even in this session, I explained about a continuous civilization. A continuous civilization is one in which people are living on top, on top, on top, on top of previous civilizations. Now, I am a person who likes to stay in so and so place. For example, I'm staying in, let's say I'm staying in a place called as Rajiv Chowk. It's a metro station. Let's say let's make it more simple. Let me say let me explain that I'm staying in a place called as Noida. Noida is very famous in near Delhi. So I'm staying in a particular street in Noida. What I'm saying is, I'm saying to my generations that this is your land, which we have lived here for many generations, and therefore you should continue staying only here. For example, so my son will, what he will do? He will stay in that same house. It may not break. But his son, during his period, my grandson, during his period, the houses might not be in good condition. So he might already reconsider building that house. My great grandson's period, most likely that this house which I constructed may not be in a good condition. He might want to get rid of that house, demolish it, and reconstruct around that same location. Now, when I reconstruct, what will happen is many times the rubbles, the broken pieces of the structures are left behind at that same place. Nobody bothers to move all that rubble and put it in a settle, like, these are all trash, let me resettle it. No, the rubbles are, most cases, they're left at the same place and construction happens on top of it. Now, already you got a reason why the layers are increasing in height, right? And also, many times what happens is, even if the rubbles are not left behind, it is natural because the surrounding landmass, the ground level, is increasing. Well, there's a reason why, ground level increases. It's purely a natural cause. The ground level keeps increasing very slowly. I mean, you cannot notice it in 1 year or 2 years or 10 years, but in a span of hundreds of years, you will see that it's rising. So what will happen is your site is already starting to get buried. So a newer civilization, maybe 300-400 years after my period, would want to construct equivalent to or higher than the ground level. Got an idea? Why,
Yeah,
why?
yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this is a new piece of information for me because we thought water level is increasing, but at the same time ground level is also increasing. I was not
Yes.
aware of this fact.
Yeah. And mountains are decreasing. All the soil from the mountains, it will come down.
Yeah, a lot of this comes and settles. Multiple reasons actually. Settlement from the rivers is also a major cause.
Okay, and that
Multiple.
leads me. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. And that leads me to my second question is like, so when we find out the, of course, now that you're doing a pilot project in Mura and Tosh, which are less inhabitant, but finally, suppose, I mean, of course, Krishna willing, everything gets sanctioned and it goes taken by the government as a big project, and in the areas like you mentioned about Gokul, Nandagaon, and all those areas where the real pastimes, Govardhan pastimes happen. So those are like thickly populated as well as Mathura. So their temples and inhabitants, will they still allow like to go deep to? Is it like through the lidars and all the sky X-ray? Do you find out the pictures and then how does it proceed after that?
You see, anywhere where you have a construction, it's near to difficult, near to impossible to excavate it. Why? Because people do not want to move. That's why I emphasize again and again, let's focus on areas which are empty, which are easier to do. Why do you want to take up mess in terms of going to courts and fighting cases and legal battles and also people turn nasty when they come to know that they have to vacate their land for whatever purposes. So best is to already there are hundreds of potential sites which are buried in Braj. Let's focus on that. And as the Braj Heritage Circuit develops, we can always show it to people and request them. See, there is a potential archaeological sites under your land, and you please consider. And if they are paid sufficiently as a compensation, I don't think there would be any issue. And we'll be able to pay such people only when we develop other areas. So I think in this particular project, it doesn't start from the city and go to the villages. It starts from the villages and goes to the city. In that way, there is some possibility. Whereas if we try from the cities and then go to the villages, say, when I say city, I mean Mathura and Vrindavan, and these two are the main cities as per the current situation. I would prefer to start from the villages and go to the cities of Mathura and Vrindavan.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. That makes sense. Yeah. Best wishes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Meena Mataji, you wanted to add anything or any questions, Mataji?
No, Hare Krishna. Guruji, he's explained nicely and summarized last what happened. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Just been to Raj few days just came back from Raj in India and other places as well. So it's nice to hear that you are doing this nice work. Hare Krishna.
We are just 2 hours away, maximum 3 hours away from Braj. So going to Braj is a regular affair for us, like going and meeting someone, doing some research, and so Braj is. We are at a very interesting location called as Indraprastha, Delhi. We are living in the Pandava city of Indraprastha. On the north, we have the Mahabharat war field called as Kurukshetra. It's again 3 hours. On the south, we have the Leela Stalis of Krishna called as Braj. So it's a very interesting location, Delhi, Indraprastha.
Good. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sanchita Mataji.
It's a nearby Raj. You are this is discovering.
I mean to say that we are staying in Delhi. It is the central point. On the north, we have Kurukshetra. South, we have Braj. So both are easily accessible.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Palla Prabhu, he wanted to ask some questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentations, Prabhu. It's an amazing presentation, and the work that you have been doing is really, really amazing. Wish you all the best for this great work, and hope everyone will come up with this. And Lord Krishna is always there with you. And on a separate note, the technology that you're using in terms of the leader and the GPR. So is it the leader being used for Cambodia discovery as well? Is it?
True.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mention that. Thank you for pointing that out. This technology has also helped identify temples around the Angkor Wat temple in Cambodia. So the entire complex of Angkor Wat has pretty much got expanded after the usage of technologies, because people didn't know that this temple was much bigger. What the landmass which we
Right.
see now
Yeah.
is not that much. That the temple is much bigger than what is. It is already the largest temple in the world,
Largest temple in the world, yes.
and on top of it, there is even more, potential sites. No, actual site, not potential, actual sites of the temple, which are remains of the temple, I would say, are surrounding the existing temple. So LiDAR helped to identify that. So this is a real technology which has given real results around the world. And in India, it is, except few sites like Dhoravira and few other sites, it has been used and not much usage. People are still not aware of the potential of what this technology can do. And that's why I keep emphasizing it, that we need to use it. We need to bring out the archaeological sites. We need to prove the historical authenticity of Krishna, that he really came. These were his Leela Stali, these were his, physical evidences, as we call us. That's my intention. So that nobody should call Mahabharata or Krishna as mythology. It's a real, facts. Mahabharata is a real fact, and Krishna is a real personality who came. So that's the intention behind doing it.
Oh, is there one of the concern in India as well, like if LiDAR being used on a very renowned, statue or a monument of the current controversial monument in India, if LiDAR being used to scan, they might find something underneath Sanatani architecture?
As I told you, our intention is to focus on areas which are not inhabited. Start from the villages and go to the cities.
Yeah.
Whereas when you start from a controversial side, your entire mission can get stuck in unnecessary problems.
Yeah. No, I'm not asking for your project perspective. I'm asking because the politicians, they're playing their game, their cards, Though with, current governments, the Modi government, things has developed a lot, helped us a lot. But I'm talking about, satta ka jo game hai, I'm talking about those things. So there are sort of oppositions talking about, that could be, do you understand those controversial monuments, we're talking about one of the wonder of the world, yeah. So later being used, they might find something, they might discover something underneath controversial structure. Could that be the case?
It can be, but the thing is that what I understand is the government is not willing for any more controversy. This
True.
current government.
Yeah.
They want peace. They want that, because also considering how other countries are right now, like America, how it is right now, and Greenland.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
great issues going on. So geopolitically, when I try to see it, I don't think, and also I understand the government to some extent, not the best, but because we regularly interact with many politicians. So what I understand is they're not willing to take up any new controversy, especially sites which are so important. No? They are not willing to take it up. Possibly maybe 5, 10 years later when they are ready for it, but definitely not now. But yes, technology wise, these technologies have to have the potential to map any site. That is true.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, potential perspectives, yes. Thank you, Babu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We all wish you all the best, Prabhuji. It is very wonderful work and nice to hear all these things. We generally would not hear anything, but we always going through all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all those things. Okay, but it's a very new insights into the Raj for me. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and wish you all the best. And yeah, we are also fundraising. It is going up to next 31st of January. So after that, we will contribute all in once, Prabhuji, for this project. And thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'm not in London, so I'm situated in the very near to in the Halifax small town in the north England. All devotees, they're London based. I'm not London based. Okay, but yeah, anyway, when you come to London, maybe possibly you would meet many of those devotees who are near to the Bhaktivedanta temple. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So if you're all happy, Prabhuji, we can conclude our session for tonight. Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
yeah,
Hare Krishna.
yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry,
Yes.
that's a different questions altogether. I think I think it's quite late though. But these questions actually I've been asking in terms of some of the things that we have observed recently. We feel like because I work with some of the organizations with the Hindu sentiments and all, and where we have recently like the lot of Hindu killing happening, temple demolitions happening in our neighbor country. So based on that, there is some consciousness needs to be developed, and we have been requesting many organizations, all the temple organizations in the UK, to take part one of the protests, where we didn't find any ISKCON representatives came in, and also few others. So we tried to highlight. I discussed with Watford Manor temple as well, but we need to take it further, understanding we being Hindu, and especially in the spiritual organizations, people are raising questions whether ISKCON is Sanatani organizations or the Hindu organizations, or is something completely different they classify them. So I think I found it very difficult to answer these questions in terms of the sentiment, and people have a perceptions saying people in ISKCON in spiritual life, they are very selfish. So that's why their perception is they are about their own goal for the perfect towards Vaikuntha and Gokul, like Goloka Vrindavan, sorry. So they are talking about, is it something they are only after their sort of individual goals rather than contributing for the community, especially when a community, talking about the Sanatani community. And there has been concern raised when Mahabharat was there. That time India used to rule, Bharat used to rule. The things has changed. And then when the Mughal, different Shak, Hun, and all these dynasty one after another came, they changed completely everything. Somnath, the temple like Somnath, and where Dwarka and all, that when that temple, that particular place, and the royal place can be demolished, then anything could be demolished. In fact, the Delhi could be demolished. The ISKCON could be turned as a mosque in Delhi, depending on, because I think after many years, the Hindu people has been united after Modi came in. But within Hindu, people we have seen in different places, bit unorganized, like bit selfish, or bit like, maybe might not be selfish, what they're saying is might be a bit different, like they are not thinking that perspectives, So whatever happening is, our neighbor countries, so they are making things, difficult for the Hindu Sanatani to do their practice, and they are under gunpoint, burning, the people life, and then I don't want to use that other language, for the women they are doing, with publicly, So these are the things that are happening, and one of the sannyasi of the ISKCON, I think you know very well, Prabhu, and this many people know here, they has been there more than a year, and I believe there's some stand has been taken in the beginning, but then everybody was silent. So this sort of things, why it is happening, and this is a different message going outside, where this particular Prabhu who has been in captive for a long time, if he gets converted by those guys in that religion, and that could be a propaganda for them, like the Hindu Sanatani didn't protect you, and you being coming from a different religion, we are giving you, welcoming you if you stay with our community and our club. Yeah, so this could be a very bad message for us, would be a slap on us, on Hindu and Sanatani organizations. I think this is the time for all of us to think in that perspective as well, I feel. So temple needs to come up something, I mean, some sort of a shift probably it is needed, and asking questions ourselves. We are doing chanting, we are doing book distribution, Gita Jayanti, but I think one of the core responsibility somehow they feel like and also to a certain extent I am also feeling maybe when we are lacking somewhere, it could be dangerous. I don't know. What do you think, Prabhu? And this is something, yeah, you need to also probably, I need your feedback on this and also discuss within your side of the Sangha.
Yes, yes. I'll answer this.
Yes,
See,
Prabhu.
ISKCON as a society, it's very different in different parts of the world. It might be the same, but Prabhupada had created ISKCON in the sense that every ISKCON has an individual independent leadership. Okay. For instance, when you take ISKCON India, it functions and operates and its ideologies are very different from other parts of the world. So my point is that a particular issue cannot be said that the entire ISKCON is like this. ISKCON is so vivid, so vivid. Matlab, there is on one side people very conservative and on the other side very liberal also. On the other one side, they're extremely right wing towards Bharat and this. On the other side, completely. So what I see from this thing which you're saying, yes, this is definitely a concern. I cannot speak for ISKCON as a society because that's something with the ISKCON leadership. They have to say exactly what is their position. But what I am trying to say here is that in India, the situation is very different. When this riots happened few years back, entire ISKCON leadership from India, they went and fought in Kolkata. In Kolkata, they organized a big protest march. It was covered by media. Gauranga Prabhu, he did a big protest march and he did a massive protest to fight against, that there's so much atrocities happening against Hindus in Bangladesh and all that. So what you're saying is definitely a concern. I don't deny that. And I don't say that any society is, completely perfect. There are things which need to be improved and which need to be discussed and brought out. And growth and transformation is always part of any spiritual organization in terms of how it functions and how it operates in society. So, regarding the concern of our our culture being under attack, this is a very true fact. Like, for example, when you take this place called as Bangladesh, it's an extremely important place for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Many of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes have happened in this land. Many of Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas are also from this land. So yes, this land is extremely important. But we are in a situation that this land is now completely different country. What will happen? What will happen? Who will do what? We have no clue. So in short, my conclusion is that regarding ISKCON, I cannot speak because it's something which the leadership of ISKCON have to speak about what would be their position. And as I told you, every ISKCON is very unique and different in terms of the leadership. They're independent, in fact. So difficult to say that this is what ISKCON as a society stands for. You will find very diametrically opposite devotees within ISKCON still functioning under one umbrella of ISKCON. So I would say that it would be incorrect to classify, like I'm not saying you're doing, but whoever is saying, to say that the entire society is like this. No, that is not the case. I think basically that's the crux of the matter which I wanted to answer. Have I covered what your concerns were, or you have something else to?
No, yes, Prabhu. I think you have very nicely covered this one. But the one you mentioned definitely, I think it has got both the emotions there within ISKCONs. I've discussed with some of the senior what do you say preacher in ISKCON to a certain extent already, and they got mixed opinions. But looks like they haven't thought about it many things, because they're so busy with their, So my questions to them, yeah.
Answer. There's one another perspective, which is that ISKCON in India can be very outrightly say that this is how it is, whereas ISKCON in the West have to be very calculative and careful. I hope you can fill in the blanks to understand what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah, definitely, that's true. You're right. Yeah, but a question here is, when somebody from the, ISKCON sannyasi has been in captive for such long period, that shouldn't have been. Well, actually, that shouldn't have been like ignored. My question here is, that the protest, some sort of a protest should have been continued, because ISKCON being new along all other religious institute, but ISKCON is very nicely organized. ISKCON does such a great work, in spiritual learning,
I'll quickly answer this point also.
encouraging.
Very careful in terms of taking political sides. I'll tell you why. For example, I'm being open about it. For example, if let's say ISKCON outrightly criticizes Bangladesh, take for example, right? In Bangladesh, there are thousands of devotees. Now, if ISKCON is giving so much of pressure all over the world for Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is the country is facing difficulties because of ISKCON being a catalyst in giving so much of pressure, it could also lead to, I mean, this is not something I'm justifying what is happening, but reading the minds and also discussing with people, I understand why they are apprehensive of taking major steps. The reaction will be on the devotees on the ground level in ISKCON in Bangladesh. Do you get the point?
Yes, Prabhu. No, I do.
ISKCON has to be very careful. It's there in a Christian country, it's there in an Islamic country, it's there in a Hindu country, it's there in an atheistic country. So ISKCON really is, as a society, it is the largest, so quote unquote, Sanatani organization on this planet. Very big, very powerful, very influential. They also have to be very careful in what they do and how they present themselves, because one thing wrong done in one country will affect the devotees of another country.
Yeah, Prabhu. No, that's true to a certain extent. But the question here is actually they are talking about, when many organizations are protesting, ISKCON being one of them to contribute, then they won't be highlighted. When there are many, so they won't be highlighted. So that's like a, sort of supporting it, feeling the pain, for others. And so this is the one. And second thing, had Prabhupada been there, because Prabhupada was involved in freedom fight, and he tried, so could have been a different scenario. That sentiment we have lost from the leadership. Feel like
And then
so.
ISKCON is a very wide and vivid organization. There is a lot of differences in terms of how different temples function. So it would be
Yeah.
say that this is what it is. I hope I answered that.
Yes, no, that you answered to a great extent, definitely. But yeah, this is the question outside people are having it. I'm sorry, Prabhu, yeah, to held you up. But they're asking another questions in this particular line, why ISKCON says, they don't fear, they're talking about in the Bhagavad Gita also, don't fear other than Krishna. Then why they are afraid of, speaking against those crimes and those heinous crimes that has been happening. So that means we are not there is a political things when we are talking about don't fear about other than Lord Krishna, we are still having fear. So these are the things, these are the questions people are asking, and I know it's very difficult to answer those questions, being in society. We cannot avoid politics. Whatever we say, politics has to be there. Though we are saying we are not in politics, we can't do politics, but we cannot avoid it. So this is a very difficult thing to. I know we understand, but I think to a certain extent, we have to also understand, like this sort of things we need to, be, we need to be involved with, not like alone, but yeah, jointly to a certain extent. Thank you,
Got
Prabhu.
you. Really appreciate for putting that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I hope I answered it satisfyingly, the questions which was raised.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, I think hope you have answered all of our questions. Okay, so but one thing, as being a panditas, asocyananma sojastum prajnavadamsha bhashase gatasmun agatashumsha na anusocyanti pandita. A learned person would not lament for either living persons or dead persons. Okay, so but keeping that one note, but again, if we wanted to do anything, then we must have some kind of spiritual strength. A person who is having some kind of bhogeshwari prasaktanam, such kind of people engaging in the ordinary life, then we would do very little to that kind of movements. One must have spiritual strength, like that gives us enough strength to lead any kind of movement. Okay, so on that note, Prabhuji, if you are happy, so we shall conclude our session for tonight, and I hope we'll see you later on, Prabhuji, in the future. And can I request all devotees kindly unmute and do 3 loud Hari Bols to Prabhuji?
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice class.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Conclude.
Well, it's good to meet you all.
Pranam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu, for such an insightful session.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And wish you good luck. Get well soon completely. Almost there.
Krishna's blessings, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.